Hola compañeros y bienvenidos a parte 2 de la lección de preguntas. Hoy el enfoque va a ser responder a las preguntas abiertas con frases completas, ¿sí? Aquí el hombre dice, ¿por qué tiene la flor para la mujer que dice adiós? Dice, ¿por qué? Entonces, si no recuerdas las palabras de preguntas en esta orden, ¿quién? ¿Qué? ¿Cuándo? ¿Dónde? ¿Por qué? ¿Cómo? ¿Cuánto? ¿Sí? If you are not remembering those from yesterday, please go back in and rewatch the Ed puzzle from yesterday. Today's lesson builds off of yesterday's lesson. See? So you do need to have a fundamental understanding of what these question words mean and how to form open-ended questions in the to form. And once we are there, today's lesson will make more sense as we are building off of that background knowledge from yesterday. ¿Sí? Entonces, bien. Preposiciones importantes. In order to respond to open-ended questions in complete sentence form, we need to know these prepositions right here, okay? Because they are going to help us form complete sentence responses to the questions. So this might be a good idea to take out your cuaderno right now. We have not dealt with your cuaderno for quite a while. If you still have it, take it out. If not, just jot this down on a sheet of paper. If you by chance have your Unit 6 materials, you could do it on the purple sheet, one of the pink sheets, or just in your cuaderno somewhere. But these are very important prepositions in Spanish for responding to complete sentence form. See? So the preposition, we talked about this one yesterday, con, with, porque, because. Now do not confuse porque, all one word, with the question word porque, two separate words in an accent. Porque, why, when it's a question. Porque, because, when it's a response. So you crunch it all together and you get porque. So if the question is por qué, the response can be por qué. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Why? Because. Why? Because. You see, and you could go around and around. The preposition de, from, or can also mean of. The preposition a, generally, as we learned in the last unit, ir plus a plus infinitive, generally the word a would mean to. I am going to the market, for example. But when you're telling time, the preposition a can also mean at. A la una, a las dos, a las tres, a las cuatro, at this time, see? And finally, the preposition en, which is kind of that magic two-letter word that means three different two-letter words in English: in, on, and at, depending on the context of the sentence it's used. Okay, so once you know these 5 prepositions, we will have a fairly easy time responding to open-ended questions in Espanol. ¿Sí? Bien. So, just like yesterday, there was a kind of sentence structure, a process to asking open-ended questions in the to form. Remember, we need basically a question word and a verb in the to form. Okay? For today, there is likewise a process for responding to the question, okay? And it all starts with interpretar la pregunta, interpreting the question. And once we have interpreted the question, we can start to form a response. So the first thing we need to do to interpret the question is identify, again, the question word. What was the question word? Who, what, when, where, why, how many, etc., etc. See? ¿Quién? ¿Qué? ¿Cuándo? ¿Dónde? ¿Por qué? ¿Cómo? ¿Cuánto? ¿Cuánto? See? So we have to recognize what was the question word. Once we know the question word, okay, we start to interpret what the question means, okay? Once we know the question word, then we look for the verb. Identify the verb. Are they asking donde comes? Cuando comes? Con quién comes? Those questions are using comes. Those come from the verb comer, to eat. Okay, is the question duermes, coming from the verb dormir? Is it juegas, coming from the verb jugar? Is it bailas, coming from bailar? Is it nadas, coming from nadar? See? So identify the question word and then identify the verb. And put the two together and you can interpret what the question was. See? And once we know what the question was, now we can form a response in the yo form. Remember, yo form, real easy. Put an O on it. See, if it's an AR verb, get rid of the AR and put an O on it. If it's an ER or IR verb, same thing. Drop your ending, yo form, put an O on it. So if somebody's asking you a question in the to form, they want to know about you, you respond in the yo form. Yo. For example, ¿dónde comes? Yo como en el parque. See? So respond in the yo form, and then we might need to visit with some of these prepositions in order to make our response coherent and dynamic. Okay, that's what we're really going to be working on today, is making our responses coherent and dynamic. A couple of things you will need to know about yo form. Some verbs in the yo form have funky endings. So far, we've learned a few irregular verbs in the yo form. Yo soy. So if the question is de donde eres, where are you from, you would respond yo soy de. Okay, if the question's como estás, how are you, you would respond yo estoy. If the question is a donde vas, you would respond yo voy. The question is, ¿cuántos años tienes? You would respond, yo tengo. These are what we call verbs that are irregular in the yo form. So you can't just put an O on them and make them in the yo form because they're what we call irregular verbs. But for the most part, the verb comer, the yo form, put an O on it, yo como. The verb dormir, put an O on it, duermo. The verb jugar, put an O on it, juego. The verb bailar, put an O on it, bailo. The verb nadar, put an O on it, nado. See? So identify the interrogative word to figure out what's the question asking. Identify the verb, again, to figure out what's the question asking. Respond in the yo form by basically putting an O on the end of the verb and then match it with one of these prepositions and respond specifically to the question that you're being asked. Do not be like the zombie kid. I like toidles.
Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend the zombie, Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I like turtles.
All right, you're great, zombie. And good times here at the Waterfront Village, open for the next 11 days.
That's kind of what we see there if we do not recognize what is the question that's being asked, okay? And we just like throw out a random response that's not responding to the question. It kind of sounds like, I like turtles. See? So that's why I'm training you to do all of those following things. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is provide you with an adequate response for all of the different question words. Okay, so when the question word has quien in it, quien, who, you want to respond with a subject. Or if the question word is con quien, you want to respond with an indirect object, okay? Those buzzwords, don't worry about them. See it? We're going to work with some examples here. Con quien vas al cine. My question word, con quien. With whom? My verb in the to form, vas. And then the rest of the question, al cine. With whom are you going to the theater? So, put your verb in the yo form. Yo voy. It's one of those irregular ones. Al cine, to the theater. Con mis amigos. So there is one of those crucial prepositions. With. I am going to the movies with my friend. Yo voy al cine con mi amigo. So when the question word is con quien vas, reply with yo voy con and a person. ¿Sí? Con quien vas al cine? Yo voy al cine con mi amigo. ¿Qué programas ves en la tele? Question word ¿qué? What? What programs do you watch on TV? Oh, la televisión. Tele is short for televisión. So the question word is ¿qué? We want to reply with like a thing. What are the programs that you watch on TV? We want to respond to that question word what by giving some things. So our verb ves, you see or you watch. In the yo form, yo veo, yo form, put an O on it, yo veo, Friends y Sofia the First. Not I like toidles, no. Bien. ¿Cuándo duermes? La pregunta, ¿cuándo? When duermes, do you sleep? So recognize. ¿Cuándo is asking for when. So we're like gonna give some examples of different references to time, and some of them have different prepositions indicating time. First step, yo form, put an O on it. The verb dormir, yo form, yo duermo, I sleep. En la noche, remember en can mean in, on, or at, so in this case, at night. Yo duermo a las 11, remember a las can indicate time. Yo duermo en el invierno, remember en can also mean in the winter. You're like a hibernator, I sleep all winter, see? Y yo duermo el sábado, basically a day of the week that we could give them. So when the question word is cuando, be sure that you give them like a reference to time of some sort. Do not say I like toidos. Yeah. ¿Dónde comes? Question word, ¿dónde, where? Comes, do you eat? First step, yo form, put an O on it. Yo como. When the question word is ¿dónde? Almost always you're going to want the preposition en. Notice the question word here is not de donde. I'm not saying where are you from, de donde eres. No, I'm not saying de. De from where? No. Just regular donde, where. Where do you eat? Yo como en, I eat in the restaurante. ¿Dónde comes? Yo como en el restaurante. ¿Sí? ¿Por qué? Remember, when the question word is ¿por qué? The response is also generally ¿por qué? You always need ¿por qué? In the response to be a complete sentence response. So, ¿por qué? Why? ¿Estudias? Do you study español? ¿Por qué estudias español? These are like 4 awesome responses to that question. ¿Por qué estudias español? Yo estudio español porque me gusta, because I like it. Yo estudio español porque yo quiero, because I want to. That's a word that if we would have had more time in class, we have a unit that focuses on the verb querer, to want. Querer is a fundamental verb in Spanish too. It comes up in almost every unit. Querer, to want. Yo quiero, I want. ¿Por qué estudias español? Why do you study Spanish? Yo estudio español porque yo quiero, because I want to. ¿Por qué estudias español? Yo estudio español porque es divertido, because it's fun. Oh, yo estudio español porque es interesante, because it's interesting. Because Señor Bro makes it interesting. Gracias. ¿Eh? So, ¿por por qué, because. All of your responses are going to have the word because in them, see? And then these are some explanations. When you respond to por qué, why, you need some type of explanation. So maybe in your cuaderno, if you're taking notes right now in your cuaderno, you could add these four. Porque me gusta, because I like it. Porque yo quiero, because I want to. Porque es divertido, because it's fun. Porque es interesante, because it's interesting. Those are four great ways to respond to any question, por qué. Don't be like a 4-year-old and just say, por qué? Because. Why you? Because. Just because. No. I want you to strive for these complete explanations, see? Okay. When the question word is como, how, this is like the most difficult question to respond to because you need a lot of vocab, see? So I figured one vocab that we all have are letters of the alphabet, see? So if I ask, ¿Cómo escribes tu nombre? How do you spell your name? You could reply, Yo escribo mi nombre, and the letters, letter by letter. ¿Cómo, how, escribes, do you write tu nombre, your name? Yo escribo mi nombre, S-O-F-I-A. Sophia the first. Or in a kind of a more proper way of asking this question would actually be, ¿Cómo se escribe tu nombre? It would mean more like, how is your name written? And you would reply, mi nombre se escribe S-O-F-I-A. My name is written, or my name is spelled like this. But I'm trying to show you how to respond to questions that are asked in the to form with the yo form. So this is what I came up with. ¿Cómo escribes tu nombre? Yo escribo mi nombre S-O-F-I-A. Y when the question word is cuántos, you need to reply with a number, because cuántos, how many? So reply with some kind of number. If the question is ¿Cuántos hermanos tienes? How many hermanos could mean how many brothers do you have, or how many siblings do you have? Tienes, you have. Upside down question mark and regular question mark, meaning do you have. ¿Cuántos hermanos tienes? You reply in the yo form. Remember, tener is kind of funky. In the yo form, it gets that letter G. Yo tengo dos hermanos. Yo tengo tres hermanos. Yo tengo cuatro hermanos. Again, be sure when the question word is cuántos that you're replying with some sort of number. ¿Sí? Bien. I hope that this lesson has helped you determine different ways to respond to open-ended questions that are asked in the to form by, again, coming up with the structure for responding in the yo form. See? So if you have any preguntas, any questions, please email me or give a call, and I can respond to your questions specifically. Tomorrow, I'm going to do like a Kahoot assignment where you play Kahoot as many times as you need until you get a 10 out of 10. And I ask 12 questions about Profe Broom. You might not even know the answer to them, but you have to analyze the results of, or you have to analyze the possible responses and see like, wait, that response sounds like I like turtles. Like if you say, where is Profe Broom in this picture? And one of the responses is, Profe Broom likes to drink coffee. It's like, that's not answering where is he? That's answering what is he doing? See? So one of those is like, I like turtles, rule that out. See? Donde está? The response should have en. Profe Broom está en Winnipeg. He is in Winnipeg, because that uses the preposition that would satisfy the requirement of saying donde, where. He is at, or he is in, he is on. See? Excelente. So that should be kind of a fun assignment for you guys. And then you'll have a 3-day Memorial Day weekend, and I will catch you guys on Tuesday. Remember, Tuesday is when your final summatives start. Okay? You'll hear more about that tomorrow in the Google Classroom post as well. See? Muchas gracias, compañeros, y hasta luego.